Hey everyone, so it's a quick video here. I've been working on a game for quite a while, however, just quite simply put, just not had the time to do it. But I shifted over to Unreal Engine for a while, and one of the things that caught my attention with that was the incredible Matrix demo. But when I started getting into it, and I bought a tutorial set, and when I started getting into it, I decided that actually Unreal's clunky sometimes, and a bit difficult to do simple things, so I set up a very basic scene with a building, made an openable door that I could go through, and that took me quite a while. So I decided to try and just do a pet project, and I want to see how far AGK can actually be pushed. So what I've got here is a first person, very simple city scene. I do intend to make it more complex, and when I can figure out how, I intend to make all of this open source so that anybody can have a look at it and contribute and hopefully improve it. But this is just a hobby, this is a pet project. So basically I've used all the existing technology that I've built, so this is all based on the AGK world builder and the game engine that I threw together to create this very simple scene. But what I can do is come up to this door here, and I can just click to open it. And I can close the door. So I can open and close doors, and I can come in here. Now AGK's natural shaders means shaders, shadows when I turn this way, it's culling the back of the building, so I'll have to set some kind of code to stop that happening when things are within a certain distance. I can close the door, I can open it to the heart's content. These can also be set to automatically close after a certain amount of time when they're open. However, this does allow me, you can see the textures here, ignore this is a very simple mock building that I threw together, so none of the textures are accurate, they're all just built to separate meshes from an FBX export. But what you can see here is that I do have staircases, I've got multi-stories, I can come along and I can climb the stairs, I can go all the way to the top. And then here I have a simple flat that's modelled where you can go in and there's multiple rooms, multiple walls. Again, ignoring all the textures, got windows you can see through, etc, etc. So what I wanted to demonstrate today was how easy I can actually make it to create an openable door in AGK, because AGK is actually really powerful. So I'm just going to come out of this just now and quit that. And for now I'm going to go back into the actual editing software. So I'm going to load up the world builder, I'm going to look for, where's my city? So I'm going to load up the city, just make that full time. Now what I'm going to do is separately in Blender, you can see here's the building that I've been modelling, so everything's a bit squiffy because of the meshes, etc. But separate to that, I've made another door, so it's a little simple door. I've pre-exported it, it's a Victorian door. It's very simple, and I want to put that in the inside of my flat. So here you can see in the world builder, here's my it's a very simple city scene from a bunch of free assets I downloaded. The only one that's not downloaded is the main building here in red, which I've been building. But you can see that already, if I scale right out, that scene is using just a tiny bit of the world builder's usable scale. So what I want to do is, this has obviously got the LD, you can see at the moment I've got 833 megabytes worth of memory used. If I scroll right in, the background texture streaming will start filling up the memory again as I come right in until we're up to 1200 meg, 1.2 gig. Again, I haven't optimized any of these textures, that would be the final stage. But I want to combine my LOD details in my engine just to see how much of a city I can actually build and keep it running. But for now, let's focus on just adding in the door to that flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, go to my object library, and I'm going to load in my Victorian door, which is here. Just load that up, and that brings in the door. Now I'm going to try and get it to roughly the size of the door frame, but we'll sort that out once it's done. I'm going to slap that object down just now, come out of there. I'm going to my gallery, my texture gallery, I'm going to load in the Victorian door texture. So we go here. Again, it's 256 by 1024 pixels. It doesn't have to be that big, but I haven't optimized anything. So what I'm going to do is just go in here, and I'm going to set its texture. Come out of there, and as soon as I come out, it'll load in that texture. So there we go. Job done. I could drag and drop that, but hey ho. And so now what I'm going to do is just come in here, and I'm going to edit this door a little bit. I'm going to spin it around 180 degrees. There we go. And now I'm going to position it in the doorway. I'm being very rough with this. Obviously you would want to spend a little bit more time, you want to get it a little bit more exact. Scaling's a little bit off here, I'm just going to shrink that down. There we go, and I think at the top it was a little bit out as well. Now the precision on the scaling in the engine at the moment is not fantastic, but that'll do for a very rough example. I just want to show the general gist of how something that you can do in Unreal, oh, that's awful, that's much too large, can be done in AGK with relative ease. So if anybody's ever tried doing anything like this in Unreal Engine, see how that's sitting on the other side. I'm going to come in this way a little bit. There we go. The way this generally works is the easiest thing in this tutorial. I saw was on tags and labels, so I work on the same principle. So if I go and look at this door down here, you can see that it's got an object name tag saying door openable. Now in my engine I've obviously coded door openable to be a trigger or something, so all I have to do is come to this object, select it here, give it a name tag of door openable, hit confirm, and there we go, job's good one. Now theoretically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out here, I'm going to save my world, and I'm going to export a final build, include grass, so give that a minute while it just exports all the models and textures and everything else. There we go, and now I'm going to quit out of the editor. So I'm going to go back into the actual city engine itself. I'm going to make this full screen because the first person mode was a bit of a hack that I did last night, so the mouse is a bit squiffy just now as soon as it starts, so you have to make it full screen before it starts, otherwise it's a bit of a pain. Just give that a second for it to start. So my jaunty little music then. Now this world here is all in debug mode, so you can see here this is actually path mapping data, so everywhere that is red is essentially a non-walkable area and everywhere it's green is walkable. It's a very large grid. I'm going to shrink it down. What I'm going to do is just press F1, turn on the AI, so we can see my little NPCs start to walk about the city. Now what they do have, as you can see here, they've got path map smoothing switched on, so actually they'll walk across red areas if they can see a clear path to it, so path mapping is extremely efficient. But that wasn't what I wanted to show, so I'm going to go back here and focus on opening this door here, come in here, go back up my stairs. I should have made it a ground floor flat, really, but never mind. Navigate through. Obviously once this is textured properly and I put in some guardrails and stuff like that, it'll be much easier to navigate around the speed. Now here we can see the door. Now down at the bottom corner there, you've got your X, Y, A, B. You can control this with the joypad if you so wish. There's a third person mode. But you can see here it's got open, so if I just click that, boom, functional door. It's a bit rough and ready, but actually it's the gist of how it's set up. A very basic city. There's no roof obviously, so the lighting's a bit weird in here, but with fully functional doors. Now I could clone that door and put it in any doorway I want, and as long as I tag the object as door openable, the same code will fire on it and whenever you interact with that object, and it'll cause it to open and close. So as powerful as Unreal Engine is, actually very quickly and easily, because this is only about 6 hours worth of work in total, and that's taking my existing game engine and hacking it apart, rebuilding it and putting in new features such as the ability to do the scripting on the doors. You can actually do it really quickly in AGK, so AGK is actually, despite its age, still relatively powerful. I just do wish they'd sort out the shadows.